Right, so today is another video, and for those of you that have never seen a video before, let me introduce myself. My name is Michelle Fortier. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I work in private practice in the Tallahassee area. Right now, pretty much, even though I'm in the Tallahassee area, all my clients are online, so really I'm just in Florida. And I have a focus on people that have been involved with the criminal justice system or are currently involved in the criminal justice system. I do different videos on different topics, and today's topic is going to be on apologies. So let's get started. Why do I think that we need to have a video about apologies? So when I'm doing my work during the week, sometimes there seems to be themes that occur across my different clients. And this video is a little late. It should have been done a week ago because that week, the theme across many of my sessions was apologizing, how to apologize, why to apologize. I in particular had one person that was like, I don't apologize. And we went over why that person does not want to apologize and the benefits of apologizing. So let's start off with that right there. Why should we apologize? Well, it helps our relationships. It helps us be able to correct wrongdoing that we have done. It helps us build trust in our relationships. It helps us become closer to the people that we care about, and it allows us to be accountable for our behaviors. Knowing all this, why do some people still choose to not apologize? Well, one of the first that I hear is they already know that I'm sorry. Well, one of the things that I teach people across the board is that we are not mind readers. Our job is not to try and figure out what somebody means, what they really meant, what they're thinking. It is the person's job to clearly communicate their thoughts to another person. That is called good communication. And we all need to have good communication skills. It clears up a lot of hurt feelings. The second thing that I hear that it's just arrogance. It's just this belief that we have nothing to apologize for. That's some bullshit because in our lives we hurt people and we need to be held accountable even when we don't mean to hurt somebody. Acknowledging that we harm somebody and then saying to that person, look, I acknowledge you. I validate your pain. I see what I have done. I did not intend to, but I can see that I did hurt you, and I'm going to apologize for that. The third reason that I see people not apologizing is they don't know how to. So, the next thing that we're going to do is learn how to apologize. Well, the first thing when we're apologizing is we are going to ask the person for some time. So, say I got into an argument with my husband. I already know that I said some things that were not very nice. I also know that it would be inappropriate to interrupt a telephone call that he is having with somebody else to apologize. That's just ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an appropriate time to apologize. This means that they are quiet, we have time to talk about it, we have time to process it, I'm not demanding the time. So what that would be look like, and my husband's name is Johnny, so I'd be like, Johnny, hey, do you have a second? And he'd be like, yeah, sure. That's my husband. So he'd say, yeah, sure. And I'd say, the other day, I said some things that I didn't really mean, and I know that I hurt you, and I want to apologize for that. So you see how I did that right there? When you're apologizing, you're going to ask for the time. You're going to look for the time that it's appropriate. So that way the conversation can be focused. What you're also going to do in an apology is actually say the words, I am sorry, or I apologize. I don't know how some people decide to leave them out of an apology, but they do. And that is not an apology unless you include the words, I'm sorry, or I apologize. What you're also going to do in the apology is you are going to acknowledge what you did that hurt somebody else. So if that means I'm sorry I didn't pick up dinner, I realized that I said that I was going to do it, and now we have to scramble around, and I really apologize. Let me go. And then the other thing that you need to do an apology. So you have where you acknowledge the harm that you've done. You say the words, I'm sorry. You acknowledge what you did that you're sorry for. And then the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to come up with a plan to repair the harm that you have caused. So, I'm sorry, I forgot to pick up dinner. I acknowledge that this is going to make things a lot more difficult, and I know that you were depending on me, and I apologize for that. I'm going to go run to the store right now and go pick up a chicken. Once again, I really apologize. See? Right there. You apologize for what you did, you acknowledge the harm that you caused, you acknowledge the feelings that the other person is feeling, and you came up with a plan on how to fix it. Those right there, key elements of any apology. Now, apologies. That's so simple. But people manage to screw it up all the time. And here are some of the common pitfalls. Number 1, you apologize. I'm sorry, but blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares about the but. The but is irrelevant. What you're doing is you're minimizing your responsibility. You forgot to do something. You did something wrong. When you add a but in it, you're not acknowledging the harm that you have caused. You're not acknowledging your role. You're making excuses. And who wants to hear an excuse during an apology? This next one, I cannot stand so much. It's this apology. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not an apology. Feeling sorry that I feel a certain kind of way is not an apology. An apology sounds like this. I am sorry that I did X, Y, and Z, and that made you upset. I want to make sure I never do X, Y, and Z again. Ta-da! That is an apology. The other one is where you are blaming the other person for their response. The next type of crappy apology to never do is the one where you act like the victim. This is where you say, I apologize that I forgot to pick up dinner tonight. But I am only human, and what do you expect from me? I try my best. You expect all this stuff like me picking up dinner. Oh, the drama, the drama, the drama. You have now made the person that is rightfully upset because now they're going to have to figure out dinner. You have now made them where they are now your persecutor and you are the victim. That is not a good apology at all. So when you're doing those type of apologies, don't expect a good reaction from the person that you're apologizing to. And that has nothing to do with the fact that you are apologizing that you're getting the bad reaction. You're giving a bad apology. That's why you're getting the bad reaction. Remember the core things of a good apology. Saying the words, I'm sorry, or I apologize. Saying what it is that you have done wrong. Saying that you acknowledge that they feel a certain type of way because of what you did wrong. And then figuring out a solution on how you're going to fix it. Now, say I went and I did all those things, and I did a really tight apology, and it was wonderful, and it was beautiful, and all this other stuff. The person I am apologizing to is not required to accept my apology. The way that it is. You're apologizing in order to be able to show your responsibility and your accountability. It is completely up to the other person whether or not they want to actually accept that apology. And you, while you're doing your apology, have to be okay with that. You cannot demand, well, I said I'm sorry, so now you have to forgive me. That's not how it works. There's a really good saying that I really like. Apologies are just words. What you need to also look at is changed behavior. So the words are basically giving a sort of a kind of like a promise that you're going to change your behavior. The follow-up is that you actually change your behaviors. You modify what you're doing so that way the person that you apologize to knows that you actually are sorry, that it's not an empty apology. Now, that person that you apologize to can forgive you right away. You can have some that say, I'm not accepting your apology. You've done the same thing over and over and over again. I'm not gonna go through this nonsense with you again. The other one that could happen is where somebody says, I need time to think about it. What you do not do in any of these cases where you don't get an immediate apology is hound people for the apology. What you can say is, I understand that this is very difficult for you. And if I was in your shoes, I would be thinking twice about accepting my apology as well. What can I do that might help you forgive me? What can I do that might help me prove that I'm sorry for what I've done? Now, it's up to you whether or not you follow those recommendations that that person gives you. But if you want to repair the relationship and those recommendations and those requests are within reason, you might really want to think about doing those. Now, what you also need to recognize is that if a person says, no, I don't want to forgive you, it's too much, that's the end of it at that point. You can ask them, what can I do to fix it? What you do not do is keep insisting that because you gave an apology, that they have to accept that apology. That's not how it works. What you also have to recognize is that even though you apologized and you did the right thing by apologizing, that doesn't always mean that what's going to happen is going to be corrected back to you. We do the right thing so that way we know that we've done the right thing, that we can look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I did my best, I tried my best. Sometimes we have a positive reaction when we do the right thing. Sometimes the immediate reaction is not so positive. But the long term, when we look at it long term, when we look at the skills that we're developing, when we look at how we're relating to the world, we start developing into people that are trustworthy, that are responsible, that are accountable, and that other people can depend and rely on. When we do those things, the payoff might not be right now. The payoff might be long down the road. We also have to look at all the harm that we might have caused in the past and recognize that it takes time to heal from all that. And just by making one apology for our behaviors does not negate all the harm that we've done. And it's going to be through our actions now and in the future that start rectifying and fixing the wrong that we have done. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this, please go ahead, leave them in the comment section. If you have anything that you would like to add or you think that I forgot or left out, once again, put them in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, once again, like, subscribe, and share. It helps to get the message out. And I hope you found this helpful. Take care.